this very interesting video that a brother from IFG put out. And he was talking about what he believes. Maybe we'll play some clips.
Owned by companies like Stripe, PayPal, and Visa. And that works until it doesn't. We've seen donation links frozen, business accounts suddenly shut down, and transfers delayed for extra verification. The reason? Usually, vague phrases are given like violating acceptable use policy or risk-related activity. Every online payment, international transfer, or bank deposit ultimately flows through a small number of systems built, owned, and governed by Western institutions. So if we think about it from a food perspective, it's not just the corner shop, but it's the wholesaler they buy from. This is the banks of the world.
So he's talking about 5 businesses that Muslims should look to set up in 2026, right? And I love that thinking, because there's things that we as a people, we need, right? Muslims, we transact in a certain way, for example, halal, haram, right? There's things that we don't do, that other people do. There's certain places that we transact from. And we need systems and infrastructure to look out for us from a religious perspective, a geographical perspective, and a bunch of other things. So his take was interesting, right? He mentioned 5 businesses. Number 1, we need our own payment processor. So, it's interesting, subhanAllah. But Launch Good, which is, I think it's like a crowdfunding startup, Muslim owned, they have been striped. They've been cut off from the payment process, I think, like 5 times in the last 2 years. Can you imagine how stressful that is when you can't accept payments? And you're a big, massive company.
What's the excuse, though?
I don't know what it is, but it's like
they tag you for these, sending money to Syria. This is too risky.
So there was a particular. So remember,
risky corridors.
Basically, Launch Good is a platform. Many people can do crowdfunding for many things. So there was a particular donation for a Syrian refugee medical fund, and the payment processor flagged it to the high-risk destination country, right? So okay, sure, decline it, but you cut them off. You know what I'm saying? This is a huge problem for a lot of people. Their fees are also high. Then the second thing was we need our own banking rails, because these payment processors are going to use certain.
Who owns Stripe?
I'm not sure, but
I'll look it up.
Point being is, and then you mentioned a few different business ideas like that. We need our own AI thing and so on and so forth. So I want us to talk about what we think are critical Muslim businesses that should be started in 2026. He's got a finance background, which is why he's bringing up payment processor, this, that, so on and so forth. It's a huge issue, to be honest. So I want to know what you guys think. What are the 3 things that you think, from your perspective, your paradigm, that are critical businesses that should be started, 3 to 5 businesses should be started in 2026? But first, let's talk about the payment processor thing. How important is it that we have our own Muslim-friendly payment processing companies?
I think, Sheikh, it's exceptionally important. And see, for whatever reason, you could just be flagged as a risk. And if you're unable to receive payment
Freeze your funds
for your services, or if your funds get frozen, you're dead in the water, right? You're not able to be in business.
Yeah. Have you had that situation before? Or maybe not payment process, but with the bank, for example?
No, alhamdulillah. Fortunately, look, I've signed some very scary documents at some point in my life after 9/11. But
what are these documents? What does it have to do with 9/11?
Yeah.
You're stressing me.
No, are you stressing me? I was
No. All banks changed the documents post 9/11.
Patriot Act and everything.
And if you ever found, basically your funds could be frozen if you found facilitating or funding the wrong things and terrorism, things like that.
Yeah.
Basically, you'd lose your account. You don't.
And they define what is that, right?
And they define what that's in some petty act, but you don't read the act.
Yep.
So everyone's at risk to it. You just don't know it.
So we've had this issue, man. They shut down we've had our Stripe shut down before. We've had a bank account shut down before. It is a huge pain. But it doesn't solve the problem, right? Because then the way these payment processes work is that they have their banking rails, right?
Yeah, they go through the traditional banking system.
So we need.
They have to be authorized by the central bank, right?
Yes.
To receive payment.
They have to go through what? Sorry,
Central bank.
they have to.
Yeah.
We can't build an alternative.
I think you could start. It would take a long time. Regulation would kill you. And even if you get it right, you'll probably be picked up in bed.
Yeah.
So look,
So
Seriously,
it's I don't think it's a battle you'd want to take.
So look, on the payment processing thing, alhamdulillah, I actually spoke with some entrepreneurs yesterday, some founders. There's these 3 guys, they're in Minnesota, Somali brothers, mashallah, doing some good productive work, Allah Barik. So they basically built this payment processor. I won't mention the name. But Allah Barik, man, in 90 days it's picked up. They've got high volume. They actually have a good problem right now. They had to scale down onboarding, just to basically work on the tech side to make sure that they can handle the infrastructure of how many clients and customers they're getting. So all the best to them. But it was just lovely to see that these type of things are happening. And I think with our theme of keep the dollar moving inside of our community, right? Is I think I would love to see Muslims, if they're going to use a payment processor, use one run by one of your own. And the amazing thing is that they've got low fees. They're lower than Stripe, lower than all the other guys. And when you're new like that, you could probably negotiate and get it even cheaper. And these things, 0.2%, 0.5% makes a massive difference. They also are a lot more smooth and easy when it comes to the regulatory stuff, like things getting flagged, funds getting flagged, and so on and so forth. And what's really interesting about the way they do it, it'll be interesting to see how they scale this, but they have a lot of hands-on support. So, if an issue happens with a transaction, you have to speak to a robot. These guys are trying to create a system where it's more
Human.
more human. Don't worry, I'll get on the phone. I'll fix it for you, inshallah, so on and so forth. So actually looking for funding to grow. Their legal team and their tech team, that's their biggest bottleneck. So gonna go through their pitch deck and present some of the guys had the network and get everyone's feedback. If they think it's something that's suitable, we'll present it to the cave, inshallah, as part of our thing that we're looking to do, which is every month present a new opportunity like this. A new opportunity
Inshallah.
That's looking safe, looking healthy.
It's good.
Yeah. So we have access to these type of projects that will do good. But I'm interested, what are your 3 critical Muslim businesses that should begin in 2026 that we kind of need?
I think number 1 is the cave.
Okay.
And I'm not even kidding. We need, inshallah, the cave has to be at a position where you need capital, it's there. You need deals to invest in, it's there. You need projects that you can back with your family endowments, it's there. You need the best lawyers, it's there. You need the best physicians in the world,
One-stop
it's
shop.
there. One-stop shop. So the cave, inshallah, I see cave reaching that, but it has to reach that, inshallah. And
Inshallah.
I think everybody needs to be united on that cause in reaching that. Because, and without stereotyping, in America, if you need the best lawyers, you get a Jewish lawyer. It's just a fact, and they're actually very good. They're very smart. I always had great experience with Jewish lawyers versus other lawyers. I would sometimes have to teach them what to do when you go to the court. Say this, say that. This is how you present it.
Wow.
But Jewish lawyers, they would bring things. You're like, oh wow, fascinated, right? And not necessarily Zionists, but just happens to be Jewish lawyers, right? Also, another you need good financiers that can give you a lot of money and also open to doing it in a Sharia way. Also happens to be the Jews in America. So there's a lot of things I feel like when it comes to actual, instead of us getting degrees in human arts or whatever, I don't know what us Muslims get degrees in, we should more focus on, not that we're not, but I think the the increased concentrated focus has to be on these tangible skills. That it has become a stereotype, like, you know, you go to these race if you want to be represented well. Why not us? You know? So, and imagine now all these are put together in an actual network where you can just tap into the network, and it's like a yellow book. It's like the directory of the best in the world.
So it's interesting, right? Because amongst the Muslims, one of the things I'm seeing through the cave and the people that join, we actually have great talent, but it's just not. It's not united. That's the issue.
Yeah,
those guys and others are just together. We're not. But I think this is just going to be brings. You know, we actually, like I said, when we started making the directory yesterday, and I was like, wow. Do you guys know we have a FIFA licensed football agent?
Wow.
I know of him, but yes.
In the network?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Bro,
It's crazy that
I was like, what?
Yeah.
Works across Sweden, Germany,
There's
Switzerland.
another one in the process of joining.
Another football agent.
Yes.
So I'm saying there's that.
He
There's,
represents Dembele.
so I don't know who that is.
Yeah, I'll introduce like I'm this week.
Okay,
Yeah,
I'm not a football guy, but I know FIFA.
Yeah.
My point is that it's like, bro, it's just there's so many different verticals. But yeah, okay, Allah barik. So okay, so that's one. What about you, Sheikh? What are the three critical businesses?
I think coming back to Sheikh Mohammed's point earlier, social media and personal branding and what we're all doing. Media, a lot of our conversations of recent time is that media is becoming critical in our lives. And I think our own media platform, because today if you say something that someone doesn't like, you can get deplatformed for even the wrong reasons. I mean, we're not saying go out there and start causing chaos. But I mean, if they just feel that
They don't like you.
they don't like you, you can get deplatformed.
Yeah.
It's very risky. So I think very high up there would be a Muslim media platform. Another one, what Sam was saying, where he envisages a cave, but just to break it down further, doesn't necessarily have to be in a network form. But we had the discussion of the Sharia-compliant funds.
Yep.
You're taking Muslim money,
Yep.
but ultimately you're putting it in non-Muslim assets.
Infrastructure, yes.
And you're just growing them.
Yes.
But a proper Islamic fund that funds Muslim, so that would fund the guys that you are talking about.
Yep.
You know, the Somalian
Right. Payment processors.
Payment processors. So be it tech, be it real estate, be it, but a proper
infrastructure.
Muslim fund that mandate is to support Muslim-owned startups and things
Bro,
like
Allah barik. It's like you're in my head, bro. Those are my first
Yeah,
one.
and basically, Brother Ebrahim said my second and third.
Yeah.
Those are I was going to mention.
So-
Second and third is media and this.
Yeah, so my one's media. It requires a committee of scholars, though, just
Yes.
because there's,
Yeah.
to make sure it's maintained properly. I would just add to the fund and just say one extra thing. I actually think it should be a waqf. I think it should be a waqf where and a waqf is an endowment, right? It's like a self-producing asset.
Yeah.
So basically the fund is a waqf. It should not profit. People shouldn't be taking profit from it. You can take wages, no problem, take good wages. But the idea is that you seed it with money and then it makes money when these businesses make money, but that money goes back into the fund to go and get more businesses. And then the focus here is on critical Muslim businesses that are gonna, infrastructure or things that's gonna benefit the Muslim communities, people, country at large. So it's not gonna fund like charity projects. It is like a charity, it is a charitable thing because it's a waqf, but it's there.
Fund critical masses.
Yeah, exactly. To provide investment opportunity and to provide funding for businesses like cybersecurity businesses, social media, this stuff that's going to really help the Muslims. So that's the only thing I would change.
So, Sheikh, my take on that is very noble in thought. It would be very difficult to get adoption because the pull or the off-take on that would be very difficult to get someone to generally people would donate in charity, they would build a waqf. They don't mind donating a portion of their funds to a waqf, etc. But they're generally in business to enrich themselves and their families.
That's true, but also people give a lot of money, and you say, look, instead of
doing that, do this.
Yeah, instead of doing that, this is and
no. So you could certainly have a waqf element, but as you see, the wages, etc. But for example, the fund managers, etc., of this sort of thing, the incentive for them to move out of,
but that could be their payment, and they can be paid handsomely. They can be paid well.
Okay.
They can be paid very well. They can be paid very well, but it's just that the profits that come in, it could,
I think a mashup of the
potentially a hybrid potentially.
A hybrid,
yeah,
potentially. But whichever shape and form,
but
the
it's needed.
idea it's needed,
yeah,
and I think it would do exceptionally well.
It would do great. Even
the
if
semantics we can now carry on arguing about, but the thing.
Mine? Yes.
Sorry, so there was two.
I'll wait for Sheikh Ebrahim to finish.
Sheikh, food.
Okay. What do you mean? Because I'm hungry as well.
I'm hungry too. Man.
So generally, if you look at all the brands today, a key risk out of the geopolitics or the way forward we highlighted is
food security,
supply chain, and but particularly food resource. How many Muslim-owned agricultural farms are there? Forget semantics. Whether it's poultry, whether it's beef, whether it's whatever. I mean, forget all of that. But just food manufacture and food producers and manufacturers. So be it in farming or biscuits or coffee. You spoke of coffee earlier. You spoke of bread manufacturers.
Control the supply chain. Basically.
Control the supply chain of food production. No, not necessarily control it, but I mean, become a player.
Yep.
Or become players within the production of basic necessity, basic human necessity, right? Food.
Yep. Essentials.
And there are a lot of Muslims playing in that game, but I think the level has to they have to level up.
I was speaking with Brother Asad from Wahid. He was mentioning that in Africa, I can't remember which country. There's a brother who has like a meat. I don't know. Is it a slaughterhouse? Is it a factory? Is it a farm? I don't know what it is, but I think if I'm not mistaken, there's $1 million a day. And it's going to IPO soon, so that it can be a Muslim company that people can invest in. But the point is, we have nowhere near enough.
No, it's
that's like one.
It should be $1 billion a day.
Yeah, $1 billion a day. Yeah.
A good pointer on this one would be, Sheikh, like even for the halal meat, especially in Western countries, if we have a blockchain for halal meat, meaning
blockchain like crypto.
Yeah, like a blockchain where it gets stored.
Verification.
So, because the halal meat, like the Zabiha ones I'm talking about. Like, there's no real verification unless a committee of scholars actually say it, right? So
what's blockchain have to do with it?
So in the blockchain, like from the coming from it being slaughtered, smart contract, like it gets tabbed.
But what does that have to do with halal meat?
No. So the way when it comes to,
I'm not part of this conversation.
This is what I love, Sam, because he's always thinking like.
No, what I love is how all three of you understood it. But I'm like, no, you're like, of course.
To break
I just wanted a halal burger, man. Instead of I gotta go get a smart contract.
I mean,
you're able to verify the source.
Sam knows how to break it down,
open
so I'll let him
ledgers,
do it.
That are verifiable.
Yes.
From production from source to
from the source to it coming to you. What is blockchain, Sheikh? Blockchain is basically it's a footprint. Once you leave it, a smart contract on the blockchain, you can never remove it, erase it. It's there. It's forever
on the internet, basically.
But why do I have to verify it through blockchain? I can't just.
That's the smart way of doing it.
It's a faster way.
It's
more
faster
efficient,
way,
and it's cross-border.
Yes.
Okay.
And so it could be slaughtered in New Zealand, and you have the blockchain here. So there is no need of these extra certifications and of like extra cost of actually making sure it's halal. Like it's just verified once there, and it comes through the blockchain, and you know.
So it's an electronic, immediate form of authentication that can go from one country to another with a flick of a button.
So you're saying each chicken would have
whatever
it's,
it is.
its own unique identifier, let's say. So it's like electronic chain of narration, Sheikh. You know how we have chain of narration? Now this
So
chain
I
of...
can go to, for example, this Lulu hypermarket.
Yes.
Scan a QR code.
Yeah.
And it will tell me this
Exactly.
came.
Yes.
Yep.
Originated in New Zealand.
Otherwise, what you have to
but,
do...
signed off by
Yes.
this body.
Yes.
And
Exactly.
Done.
No,
And it cannot be
Altered.
faked.
Because it's blockchain.
Because
That's
it's
where
blockchain.
comes
So,
in.
so the blockchain works on nodes. So the node before and the node after
Yeah.
is fixed.
Yes.
So you cannot change it. If you try to hack it, the whole blockchain
And
will
that's
not
for...
allow
I'm
you.
talking
lost
about...
me there.
Sheikh, for the...
Okay, never mind.
For the UAE
Basically,
market...
it's unhackable.
Yeah, for the UAE market, I like, yeah, whatever, halal. But our audience is West, and it's a huge issue, right? Sheikh? I'm sure you remember. It's not been too long. You're out of the UK. Like, it's a huge issue. Is it really halal? The halal meat they're bringing, like, who did it? Like, what's happening? Nobody knows, Sheikh. It's like you go to your local Pakistani or Bangladeshi grocery store, and you're assuming it's halal.
Yeah.
Like, who knows who he sent to the farm to?
Yeah,
like, what's
yeah,
happening? It's just based on trust, right, Sheikh? But if it's on blockchain, so this would be. I'm talking about food. Just came to my mind.
Barakallah feek.
no, brilliant take on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, the last one.
I've got a lot more.
Sheikh
but
has
I think
many.
Let's stop. Let's
Okay, we'll
stop
pass
there.
it to Mohamed. Go on.
Mine, I mean, I have two actually. And mine, I'll leave the second one, the best to last. But I would say the first one is actually very related to what we're talking about. Is you need to convert, or try to find a way to convert any traditional business right now into some sort of token or some sort of online asset that can be put on the blockchain, whatever it is. Why? Because now we're moving into the age of digital currency, and it's coming, and it's going to become it will be a mandate in the next few years. I don't know, maybe even earlier. We're not going to see paper currency anymore. And that's not me saying. Read the news and even hear
It's coming.
locally. It's coming.
Agreed.
Khalas. What does that mean?
But I need some gold.
Yeah. Well, there you go. So, and actually that's probably what's driving the gold and silver prices up. But what that means is also that if that's going to become the currency of the world, then the entire infrastructure has to grow with it, right? So when you're talking and when you're going to be doing business, now it's not really so much the traditional way that was done before. So now it's a lot more blockchain, smart contracts, cross-border, so you have to find a way. And I will speak for myself, for example, and the stuff that like me and Sam working on is tokenization, because that's we talked about it a lot, right? So that's in the pipeline, because eventually this is where the world is going. So we need to go there. And I would definitely, for example, if I see that I have a business that I can convert into a blockchain, whatever it is, and it's something that I'm specialized in, then I need to find a way to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Car rentals, for example. Car rentals. Convert your car rental business into a tokenized blockchain.
You'll have to excuse me. I don't get the utility. Like I'm missing a gap. I want to understand this. So.
All right. So let's say, okay, let's take the car rental example. Car rental, right? You have a fleet of cars.
Okay.
These cars, let's say their capital is $1 million. So what you say and what you do is you take this $1 million and you divide it into tokens, whatever. We're not going to get into the technicalities of it, but let's say each token represents a specific percentage of that car.
Okay. Not the whole car.
Ownership in the car.
Not the whole car.
Not the whole car. Ownership in the car. So if you have a fraction.
Okay. So this is for investors.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I get it. It's like the real estate play.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like the real estate.
Crowdfunding one.
But that's the
Yeah.
thing. Like,
So instead of someone buying a Ferrari and then getting returns on it, each contributes towards a part of a Ferrari, and then when the car rental company rents it out, you make like 5%.
But it's backed by that Ferrari.
But it's back.
But it's
Which is
by the Ferrari. And for example, people do not underestimate how much of a gold mine that is. Underestimate how much of a gold mine that is, especially in a country like Dubai. Fun fact. Fun fact, by the most specialized data geek guy you can ever find in Dubai that's giving me this information because he's specialized in real estate. But he gave me this side piece of information for me to know. Out of 5 cars in Dubai, how many do you think are for residents?
4 residents.
Out of 5 cars, how many do you think are for residents? 1.
What?
1.
That
So
was
for
tourists?
every 5
For
cars
tourists?
on the street, it's tourists and commercial and
Oh,
imagine.
wow. And commercial. Wow.
So only 1 from every 5 cars in Dubai is for resident.
And there's a lot of cars here.
There's a lot of cars.
Because there are a lot of tourists.
Yeah.
No, but the commercial one's massive.
No,
There's a
no,
lot
so
of- there's a lot of
indirectly,
commercial
there are
vehicles.
for opportunity.
That's unbelievable. Like, for example, if you have a fleet of cars here, can you
could
imagine?
raise
The
like-
issue, because Abu Bakr obviously has a partnership in a car rental company here, right?
Yeah.
Premier Supercars. The issue they mention is that there's a lot of people that drop their prices, right? And some people, without making any accusations, have brought money here, and for whatever reason they want to clean the money. And one of the best ways to do it is to buy cars, and they don't really care about the car rental business. So what apparently some people say is that they just put it on rent at a super cheap price, so they undercut everyone else. So it's very hard to actually make profit.
That's with
So-
any business, Sheikh. I think
But that's the
just-
thing, yeah. I was
They're
just going to
washing,
say
but no,
that.
that's-
I
that's
was
just
going to
excuse.
say, Sheikh,
due
there's always
respect.
these
'Cause now,
outliers. There are
tru-
always these outliers.
Because truth be told, now Premier Supercars is actually doing well, and I think it's about building a brand, right? Building a brand, building trust.
The idea, I think what I'm trying to get at is you need now to start thinking of how to create liquidity from a business and taking it from a traditional way
Yes.
to a very
Tokenization.
liquid way. You have a supermarket. Let's say, for example, us like Middle Easterns and Muslims, we love gas stations in the US. We love it. We always own gas stations. Tokenize this gas station. Can you imagine how much more liquid and how much more leverage and the financing that you'll be able to have if you tokenize that gas station?
I think a big thing that's being missed here is that what's your method of crowdfunding, right? So, okay, tokenization is the mechanism,
Yeah.
but how do I actually get people to buy my tokens?
But that comes with the process.
Right.
First is you have to take the initiative,
Yeah.
and then there are
That's a
million
marketing
service
distribution,
providers.
That's a marketing play.
Yeah,
branding
exactly.
play.
That's
Okay.
a million service provider for that sort of thing. But what I'm
The technology exists, Sheikh, to make
Exactly.
it a reality.
to make it reality.
He's saying start thinking in that
about it.
direction.
So now you need to
And,
change. You really need to shift. I honestly, we are, and mark my words, and may Allah give me life to really see if my words are true, that we are now in the biggest wealth shift in the last, I would say, century. This year, in the next few years, with the biggest wealth shift.
I can see that. I can see that.
Because the market, the economies are changing drastically. We're going through a very big shift, and especially post-COVID, like a lot of things are not the same as before. So everything is changing. So you really need to reinvent yourself, basically. This is, if I had to put like a keyword, reinvent yourself in the way that you do business. And if honestly, like, and I'm still very bullish about real estate. If you really have the cash and if you have the money, real estate is the number one place where you should put it, especially now that it can be tokenized, because it's such a good, safe money making business. So find any good, safe, reliable, honest real estate development firm and just stick to them. Just stay with them. Just be with them. Exactly.
Exactly. Inshallah.
But we don't want to promote ourselves. But the
No, I'll
idea
promote
is,
for you. I'll do it.
but the idea is that we just want like our brothers, our Muslim brothers and sisters, to start really thinking in different ways and just reinventing themselves and the way that they do business, and now think more of liquidity and segmentation rather than just having a lot of capital and doing this business. It's just not the same. The business is not the same anymore.
Barakallah feek. If the kind of stuff that we discuss in this podcast, I'm talking about the tax strategies, the deal structures, the real conversations about building wealth the right way. If this is the kind of stuff that you want to be a part of, then this is nothing. We have an entire private network for high net worth and ultra high net worth Muslims. It's called The Cave. I'm talking about founders who've exited for 8 figures, 9 figures. I'm talking about fund managers with unicorns inside of their portfolio, operators who've built billion-dollar companies without a single penny of riba. So what you hear on this podcast, that's just the surface. Inside The Cave, you get the conversations that don't get recorded, the introductions that don't happen anywhere else, a dedicated concierge who finds the exact advisor, tax advisor, lawyer, operator, or even Sheikh scholar who specializes in Islamic finance that you need within 24 hours, inshallah ta'ala. So if this is of interest to you, you can apply, inshallah ta'ala. You can only get in through application or invitation. And most of the applications, they are declined. And the reason for that is because we realize that an effective network is not built based on who's in it, but actually who's not in it. So we really try to protect the integrity and the quality and the standard of those that are inside. So if you feel like you belong, you're a high net worth, ultra high net worth Muslim operator, inshallah ta'ala, and you want to be a part of something like this, then you can apply now at the link below in the description, inshallah ta'ala. And hopefully we see you on the other side. With that said, let's get back into the podcast.